May 9th, 1998, Loudon, New Hampshire. The car Buckshot Jones drove to victory in that day's Busch Series event was deemed to be highly illegal following post-race inspections. At least that's what I told Buckshot that day. He fell for it, and he was this close to confronting NASCAR officials with what I'm sure would have been the mother of all profanity-laced tirades before I let him off the hook and told him that it had all been a joke. After the race, your car's determined to be very highly illegal.
Yes.
Once and for all, what exactly was wrong with that car?
Nothing. I was told by somebody that played pranks that I think it was my carburetor was illegal. And I'm thinking there's no way it's because they seal the carburetor, So yeah, someone played a pretty good prank. And I think I ended up getting that person back.
Buckshot did get me back the following year by throwing his birthday cake in my face.
Well, I knew that you loved cake. So,
I didn't want the whole thing, man.
Well, I knew you loved cake, and I didn't like it, a lot, so I just gave you the whole cake. I was being nice.
Finally, I got the last laugh in the year 2000 when I hit Buckshot in the face with a whipped cream pie while he was being interviewed by ESPN. Now we go to Michigan the next year.
I don't remember anything about that.
Surely, after all these years, all has been forgiven, right?
Oh, I'm not going to do it if you're expecting it. When I get you back, you're not going to have a clue.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll just wait on it. It's been, 19 years?
Yeah, but I still haven't forgot.
You're like Jimmy Spencer. You don't forget. If Buckshot does at least attempt to get payback someday, that's fine. But just know this. I don't get mad. I get even. If you're thinking that the war Buckshot Jones and I waged on each other was the kind of thing that was limited to the lower echelon Busch Series, think again. Practical jokes have always been as much a part of the NASCAR landscape as tires, steering wheels, and pit stops. Away from home, from one end of the country to the other, for weeks on end, mischief in one form or another was all but a necessity in the sport's pressure cooker way of life. And competitors being competitors, there was almost always some one-upsmanship involved. And best of all, nobody was immune, not even Dale Earnhardt. When Earnhardt got former Huggins tire employee Gary Rogers with a piece of birthday cake at Martinsville back in the spring in 1988, Rogers responded in kind the very next week at Talladega. And if it's hard to imagine Earnhardt's reaction, picture this one. It's the late 1980s, and somebody organizes a fishing expedition, again near Talladega. Pete Wright and several of his Junior Johnson and associate teammates are in a couple of boats, and Barry Dodson and Jimmy Maycar from Blue Max Racing are in another.
So we fished, and Barry and them, every time they'd move to another spot, they'd always cut right at us and give us a wake, and try to turn us over. We had a good time.
Because we did all that stuff.
We had a good time.
Stay with me here, because this one's about to get good.
We got ready to leave that night. It's dark. I mean, we didn't fish till it's dark.
Yeah.
Well, Barry and Jimmy's still out there. You can hear them talking right around the cove. And they trying to get back. The trolling motor had quit on them. They had, and the battery was dead, and you could hear the oars hitting the side of the boat, and they were going to be a little while getting back. So we had all them fish. Well, you remember back then, Pontiac was good about giving the Pontiac teams vehicles at the
we all had
racetrack.
cars.
We always had some. Well, they had one of them nice new Pontiacs.
Throwed that fishing.
We took, it was 20 or 30 fish. Took it over there, and they left the car unlocked. We couldn't believe it. Opened the door, and we put them behind the seat. We put them behind that seat. We put them under the seat. We put them everywhere and left.
The next day at the track, Pete and his cohorts awaited retribution. It never came. At least not that day. This was psychological warfare at its best.
The whole time, all day, they never said a word to us. This was on Saturday. We had happy hour and all that stuff. They didn't run many laps. We didn't either. They still ain't said a word about that fish. Nobody.
The other shoe dropped the morning of the race. Barry Dodson had gotten his revenge.
Well, Sunday morning we come in. We're going to, start getting the cars ready. Well, back in, a lot of the truck drivers had this habit of cranking their trucks and building the airbags up, Well, Bud jumped up. He was driving our truck. I think Henry was just working weekends at that time, or he might have done left them with Harry Hyde at the time. I can't remember. But anyway, Bud goes over there and he cranks up our truck. And when he did, fish guts, scales, fish heads, and everything came out the pipes and covered every truck full of guts, fish.
They took fish out of that car and dumped them down the...
Well, they cut them all up first. Yeah, they cut them all up and put them in the sauce pipe. We had them nice chrome.
Oh, they were big stacks.
Yeah, and you ain't never seen such a thing. And just so happened, Junior was just getting there. And you remember right there where he had the bathrooms and you walked in that gate and right there in front of the trucks?
Yep.
He had just walked in and about half of that fish landed on him. I have never. And when we seen that, you could see it from the garage. Just like
fish cloud.
Oh my God, I'll never forget it. And I know we'll forget. Barry looked over and said, he said, we wondered what happened to all that fish y'all caught that.
Picture that one. Junior Johnson, one of the roughest and toughest men to ever step foot in a NASCAR garage, standing there, covered in fish guts. Steve Bird and Randy LaJoie won 2 Busch Series championships together with Base Motorsports. They were serious about their racing, but did that mean they were above a few hijinks here and there? Oh no. Slugger Labby was a witness to this one.
And Randy LaJoie is quite the jokester, as you know it. So one day Birdie was back there at the welding table welding away, and of course everyone's done it before, but LaJoie walks up with a hammer and he smacks the table as Birdie's down there welding. Of course it scares the shit out of Birdie. Helmet goes flying and everything. So Birdie chases Randy out the shop. Randy was there doing a show car or something.
Steve Bird is as old school gets, and that means when it comes to practical jokes, if he falls victim to one, he's coming back hard.
Well, later on that afternoon, it was closing time, getting ready to go, and LaJoie's like, all right, guys, I'll see you all later. Birdie had called everybody up to the door to watch, and we didn't know what was going on. He goes, watch this, watch this. So LaJoie gets in his pickup truck, and he starts going up the driveway, and both rear tires fell off. Birdie had went out and took every lug nut off. So there's LaJoie's truck sitting dead on the frame, and everybody is laughing their ass off. And
All 4 or just?
I'm sorry, all the rear tires. Both rear tires fell off the truck going up the hill, and I just remember, LaJoie, how he laughs. He just got out and he was busting a gut laughing. He goes, "You got me. I'll never mess with you again, Birdie."
At least it was just the wheels that came off in the Randy LaJoie and Steve Bird caper. Years before, Buddy Parrott decided to lose his clothes and go streaking around the K&K insurance shop. That was all well and good with crew chief Harry Hyde. In fact, he decided that Buddy and co-conspirator Raymond Fox Jr. needed an audience.
Harry would put you up to anything to have a laugh. I mean, from the times at the shop when streaking was popular, well, me and Ray Fox Jr. we just took all our clothes off, and little did we know that they had called across the street and told the waitresses over there. Harry told them, "You girls go stand at the window. You go see a show here." And me and Raymond didn't know that. Well, we got naked and we ran from the front of the building, the Goodyear building, and ran all the way around to the back part of our shop, naked as jaybirds, except for our boots. And trust me, Harry got a lot of laughs out of that one.
Here's another caper involving Buddy Parrott, this one involving future NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin, as told by D.K. Ulrich.
And I went to see all the stuff. He drilled holes in everything. for weight, every gusset in the roll bar had a hole drilled in it, and he had all this Swiss cheese looking car, and it weighed less. And I said, what's the difference? You still got to weigh 3,600 pounds or whatever it was, but it all was down here instead of up here. But anyway, and we had drilled holes in the toilet paper and put it in the restroom where he was going. Every morning he'd go in the restroom. And then Buddy Parrott, who was next door working with K&K Insurance Car or something like that, he was next door, and he put a like a bomb or like a firecracker bomb in right next to the toilet, only with the string going outside. So Mark goes in there, and we figured just about the right time, and blew that firecracker off. And he came out of there, pulling up his britches.
Some jokes last decades between good friends. Mike Alexander was flagged the winner of a 1987 Busch Series event in Jefferson, Georgia. Mike enjoyed victory lane, and he left with the trophy. Larry Pearson adamantly refused to accept the result and demanded a scoring recheck that showed that he had actually won the race.
He was declared the winner. He got the trophy and jumped in his truck and left.
With the trophy?
With my trophy. I think deep down he knew he didn't win the race. That's why he snuck out of there real quick. But I got another trophy. I mean, it wasn't that trophy. Mike still has that trophy.
I still have the trophies, by the way.
That was my next question.
I didn't give them up. But Larry,
so you still have the trophy?
Yes, sir.
That is awesome. If Larry came to you and asked for the trophy,
no, sir.
Years after the fact, Larry and Mike met for lunch. Mike finally made amends. Sort of.
It's been a couple of years ago. He was in Spartanburg to apply for a job at another race shop, and he called me up, and he and I had breakfast together at a Waffle House close by. And he's sitting there. He got there before me. He's sitting there, and I come walking in, and we shook hands and hugged and all that. And I sat down, and he comes out. He said, "I got your trophy." I said, "Really?" He brings me out a little plastic trophy and hands it to me.
When Larry and I sat down for our interview, yours truly attempted to help bridge the divide between he and Mike.
all right. So I texted Mike yesterday, and I told him that I was going to be talking to you, and he was kind enough to send me a photo that he wanted you to see.
Is that the trophy?
That is your trophy on display at his house.
That sorry rascal.
Now, he did say that it is there for you to claim. I'm a peacemaker.
See,
I'm here to.
He knows that I won that race.
I'm here to bring people together. All right. So he did make you an offer. He said once you send him the winner's share of the money, you won a little over $7,000 that night. He took home not quite $3,000. So for the difference of about $4,000 or so, that trophy is yours. So are you going to send him a check?
I'm not going to send him a check, but I want my trophy.
Hey, at least I tried to be a peacemaker. My name is Rick Houston, and I hope you've had as much fun watching this release from the Scene Vault as I did putting it together and reminiscing. Give us a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments section below your favorite practical joke, whether you were the getter or the gettee.
Rick, payback's going to be a bitch.